Ba-ba-ba-ba-da. No intro music. Give it a second. See who's going to join us. Okay. What is up, everybody? Welcome to a beautiful Wednesday. This is going to serve as your weekly video announcement. Actually, I guess I do more than one a week, but you get the idea. Here's what's going on. So tomorrow morning I do have a video dropping. We're going to do the same thing that we always do. You guys are getting used to it, so it's going to be pretty fun. The 7:50 a.m. live Eastern time, and then we go straight into the video at 8 a.m. Eastern, so we're going to be doing that, and all is going to be great. Whew, it is freaking cold here right now. It was actually snowing earlier. I have to do a feeding on this. I've got my A-Yin edition edger I'm going to get out in a minute so that I can cut all this down. I've been letting the grass grow up a little bit because it has been extremely dry. But yeah, there is definitely some weather coming in. So I'm going to try to get a feeding done today. I'm going to hit it with some humic today because, and actually I mentioned this in my tomorrow's video as well, the last time I actually fed this lawn was 5 weeks ago when it was snowing the last time. And, you know, I document every time I put something on this lawn so you guys can go back and look through. But I have been letting it grow up. You know, I did get rid of those trees that are right there. I still have some filling in coming in along the sand strip back here. It's getting really close, but it's not quite there. In fact, behind me, where this patch is, right here, if you look where that little thing is, right over my shoulder, I am still getting a massive amount of ground squirrels coming out of this rock wall. And they are chewing this whole thing down and preventing some of the new growth. They are bastards. So my cat has been on a murdering rampage lately, pulling down about 6 to 9 of those animals a day, and it is still not slowing them down. It is pretty freaking crazy to watch. It's like National Geographic over here, or maybe just National Graphic. It's pretty disgusting. So anyhow, I want to give everybody sort of a heads up on what this video is going to be about tomorrow. So I've been kind of moving through a couple of different things, but this is actually about a new weed control that's coming out, talking quite a bit about it, plus some cautionary tales and a few other things as I get into some segments that I'm getting kind of excited about, because following this, I will be getting into weedy grass identification and clearing them properly from your lawn. So we will be talking about crabgrass and Dallas grass. And here we have a significant amount of cheatgrass, so I'll be showing identification for all of those things so that you can make sure you get the correct chemical out that will make the biggest impact. So that's become more and more important, I would say, as time has gone on, especially, you know, being part of a lot of these online Facebook groups and things like that. It's been pretty interesting to see what people think is crabgrass. And what they're throwing at it, not getting any results. So all of that needs to be addressed, and how it's going to be, you know, easily identifiable and hopefully simplify your life a little bit. So that's sort of 2 video announcements. I have to kind of pause filming on the crabgrass one just because it's, yeah, not really cooperating. It has been so windy here the last few days. I haven't been able to get the camera out at all. So, yeah. And I'm using your favorite Toyobies today so I can go trim. I know how much you like those things. You are like the spokesperson for Ryobi, or as my brother-in-law calls them, Toyobies. So I'll be trying to imitate you and get some of this longer grass. But I do want to show you guys something. So I cut my grass down to about 1.5 inches just last night with my Scott's mower. Look at the growth right back here behind me. You know how tall that is? And even here around like the sprinkler head, just how tall. Let's see if I can go down so you can see it. How much. I just really, I want to point out that I have not fed this anything other than 1801 5 weeks ago. That's really all that's gone on here. I mean, it's killing it. It's doing really well, but I mean, I haven't had it this long in a while. I'm letting it get up there a little while, and for a couple of reasons. It's been so dry. I've irrigated now you want to call it that, that's a hose. That's advanced irrigation techniques. There's a sprinkler right there, and then there's another one at the end of that hose way over there. So this is holding extremely well, but you can see some of the stresses of the dry spots, like right in here. See that? It's just a little bit thinned out. Not the density of the turf, but see how thin the grass blades are? Just because the sprinkler isn't hitting right here. So there's a very good defining line right here where my fingers are. See this? See how thick the grass is here? The blades are thin here. This is just from the water not hitting it quite right. So yes, that is a Rikers Island family chemical brand conglomerate donut shop and pancake house official irrigation system is what that is. So I'm really hoping for this rain and or snow or whatever they're gonna give us today. Who knows? But it's starting to become ominous. So yeah, you know, that little like almost a third pound of in has been just cruising along on this for a while, and I'm only gonna hit it with about a quarter today. So that's what's gonna happen. What else can I tell you? Oh, I think that's it. Unless somebody wants to throw a question at me. I haven't been paying attention to the comments because I've been just blabbering on as I've gone here. So it's cold. Holy crap, is it cold? All right, so tomorrow morning, just make sure you're on 7:50 a.m. Eastern time and join for the live. This video tomorrow is about 18 minutes long, just so you know. So just plan on that. Hold on. Let me just see this. Any tip for lowering phosphorus levels? So The Weekend asked a great question. Lowering phosphorus levels. So there are some soils that are just particularly high in phosphorus, and for the most part, that there's a tremendous amount that is locked out. As you increase overall fertility and just continue your typical process and don't add to it, you can actually see your phosphorus levels will start to decline if you're not adding anything back into that pool, but it'll take a long time. So that's something to just think about here. Let me just see what else came up here, and then I'm planning to make it here to New Jersey. Someday I'll make it back to New Jersey. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it'll be. And you're absolutely right. That is something that I absolutely 100% agree with as far as peat moss. I think that people don't use that enough. I think it's wonderful for holding and retaining moisture. It's dirt cheap. It lasts. It provides a wonderful soil benefit. You know, if you were just going to do something, I know a lot of people talk about like hydrotain and how you can retain moisture that way and spray that stuff out. And it has whatever life it has. I don't really know. But if you were to take and put a thin layer of peat moss down across your lawn, and just a thin, it will hold moisture and just break down into soil food, which is really, really good. So that is something to consider. There are certain things that you can put down to get, you know, a manipulated response for either water retention or whatever it might be. Or if you put something else out that might have a carbon component, then, you know, you're going to get benefit to the soil going on. So that's something that you can really look forward to if you want to do that. If you do make it to New Jersey, bring your wife and I'll take you to the best seafood in the restaurant. You know, if I had a wife, I would do that. Let's see here. Cary, North Carolina. Good time for an apivarate. You know, there's not necessarily a bad time for an apivarate. Just make sure you water it down. And that would be one of the best things you can do. Just get it out, water it, let it get down into the clay, and that'll make a big difference. Flooding upstate South Carolina. How does too much rain affect GCF products and time frame of the next applications? That is a great question. And I do know that there are, if anybody out there is dealing with flooding, my heart's with you right now. Some big stuff, bad stuff's happening in Michigan. I believe that the Dow chemical plant is about to go underwater. That is terrifying. So, you know, there are some big issues there, but let's just talk about this for a second. If your ground stays underwater for an extended period of time, underwater, it's just the same as if you stayed underwater for a significant amount of time. There is a detriment to soil life. There is a death that occurs. There is a build back time that happens. Not to mention, if you are across a flowing water or something, you are going to pick up weed seeds, and you're going to have other issues going on. So you have to really focus on the rebuild, because nitrate moves with water. That's going to flush up and out of the soil. You have the potential for loss of all nutrients. So you have to start building again. And that's really what it comes down to. So start like you're starting from scratch if you truly do get flooded out. Rain, same thing. Heavy rains can flush some nitrates out of the soil, or nitrate out of the soil. You can have some issues with that. Plus other, other elements can be moved, just because of that. So, let's see. How does high manganese affect a lawn? You could have, no, it's not going to do much. You're not going to have too much of an issue. In fact, if you bring up some of the other elements in there, you will see more of a balancing act and effect as time goes on. I think that there's been noted, like you can see purpling of like grass leaves with too much manganese. But aside from that, it's not the end of the world. I see something interesting here. Phosphorus is at 0.46. I don't know what that means. 0.46 what? Is that parts per million? Is that pounds? What? Explain that just a little bit, and I'll see if I can help you with that. Cool season grasses, KBG, is a bad idea in the deep down south. There are people that are trying to bring some of those grasses down. I don't know how far south you are. One of the big things that you run into typically is the grass performs best under cool conditions, so you'd be wanting to try to grow it in the off season, because the stillness, the humidity really would affect bluegrass. You'd be dealing with fungus and stuff like that all the time. Let's see here. Texas. Using nothing but Next products in my backyard. I have chickens. Any reason these products be an issue? I'm going to keep it as close to organic as no, you're fine. Totally good. Any harm in adding detach to a lawn just to get rid of fungus and damage? It's not a fungicide, so you're not going to be treating fungus that way. So as long as you know that, but yes, go ahead and put it out, and it'll help to break down some of that other material. 0.46 parts per million, that's nothing. Okay, so you're gonna need to add a lot of P to that. Just add a lot of P. Not that kind of P. You're gonna wanna add a lot of phosphorus to it. Here's what you need to do. Probably you should get out there with a starter fert. Go ahead and hit it. And you're probably gonna need to do that a couple of times, because really you're gonna need to get about a total, probably to make up for it, about 1.25 to 1.5 pounds of phosphorus per 1,000 is what you're going to need through the course of the year. You don't need to do that all at once, so don't necessarily try to rush out and do it. But that's what you're going to have to do. So 1801 app, and it rained hard 2 days later. Can I wash it? Can it wash out? I suppose if fertilizer is not being absorbed by a plant, yes, like I said earlier, nitrate has the ability to move with water. You can lose some of that. You may have to hit it again, but I would wait. Wait until everything dries out. Give it a little bit of time, 7 to 10 days. Check and see how your results are, so you're not overdoing it and you're not throwing anything down that you don't need to. Okay. How do I solve hydrophobic trouble spots in the lawn? Depends on what they are. If you have any underlying issues, you should probe around in there and just make sure that there's nothing underground that could be causing issues. Otherwise, go poke holes in it, shove a bunch of humic in there, water it, and watch it fix itself. And just make sure it's getting the same amount of water as the rest of the areas that seem to be doing okay. It's pretty straightforward. Anything else? I think that's pretty simple. Okay, tomorrow morning, 7:50 a.m. for the live feed Eastern, 8 a.m. for the, I'll answer this potassium question, but 8 a.m. Eastern for the premiere. Potassium addition, soil very low, 0050 or 0062. I prefer 0050. Again, if you have extremely low, you're gonna be looking at adding about 2 pounds per 1,000 annually just to get that number up, and you don't have to do that all at once. So 0050 potassium sulfate or 0062 muriate of potash, either one, but I prefer potassium sulfate, so that's pretty much it. Okay, everybody, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Later.